Hi, I'm Big Dave, and this is my big journey. Come on along, let's have some fun. So hi, here we go. So this is episode 1 of my big journey, and I'm really excited to share this with you. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm in front of a camera, going to go on YouTube in front of maybe millions of people. So I'm a little bit new. It's more apprehension and excitement though. So here's the deal. I'm going to tell you, for those of you that don't know me, because more of you are going to not know me than do. Some do know me that'll see me on Facebook. My journey started actually about 2.5 years ago. I mean, obviously, journeys are our whole lifetime, but this particular journey. And it started by a diagnosis of cirrhosis of the liver, non-alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver. And they even gave me a picture of my liver that they took from the inside. And they gave me the biopsy, and it was ugly. So, in addition to that, I already had a pretty severe heart disease. I had had two heart attacks at the time, and I had had 3 stents, and I had had a bypass, and I was having trouble with my heart, and I kept smoking too at the same time, which was stupid. But yeah, I mean, we all have done things like this. So anyway, so to get back to my story, we want to go tell you how this journey is going. I also have diabetes, have had for years, but for years it was under control to the point I didn't take medicine. Most of the last 3 years I've taken medicine, and pretty heavy doses of these 2 different pills. And so after the diagnosis, I put on a brave face, and I'm gonna handle this, and I'm gonna take it as it comes, and I did. I think people thought I was being pretty brave, and well, as time went on, and I started feeling sicker, and the sicker I felt, the harder it was to be, to be real brave. So let's just bring it to now. Last weekend, I had lunch with my son and daughter-in-law for Father's Day. It was a wonderful dinner. And I told my son that I had missed a dosage of my medicine that week for whatever reason. And that I felt better that day than I had for a while. And that I felt like some of these medicines, if not all of them, were making me feel worse than the diseases. So I also had told my son and my doctors that, my cardiologist specifically, I didn't feel as though I was going to be here by the end of the year. And I had honestly come to that point, and I can tell you right now, if I hadn't done something, that would have come true. It would have. As sure as I'm sitting here, it would have come true. And so I had to have another stent put in my heart last June. They found 2 blockages, one 95%, 295%. One was at the above the bypass where I had a bypass, and one was ahead of a stent that I had several years back. So they were both risky, and they were able to put a stent in one of them. He said he was going to let the other one go because it was pretty risky to get to, and they didn't know if the reward would be as good as the risk, So I kept having symptoms. He said, well, we better go ahead and try. This was almost a year later. This was in the past 3 or 4 months. We better go ahead and try. I mean, it got to the point I couldn't walk to the mailbox and back without pretty heavy chest pains and trouble breathing, and I was sick. And so I decided I'd have a second opinion, because I didn't want him just go rooting around in there and something bad happened. I went to see another doctor who I had seen previously, a cardiologist who I had some faith in and I liked a lot. And he looked at the actual DVD that I had of my stent procedure and the angiogram where you could actually see the blockages. He could see it. He showed it to me because I didn't know what to look. You know, it's hard to interpret. He showed it to me, then it made sense. And but his comment was that if we got the best doctor from Mayo Clinic and if he could fix the blockage, put a stent, if he could, his opinion was that it wouldn't extend my life. And I thought, well, why go through it? And so I just got to share with you over the past few weeks and a couple of months maybe, I got pretty down. I pretty much gave up on the doctors because all they do is run tests. There's nothing they could do. There's no treatment. I can't qualify for a liver transplant. I'm certainly not going to get a heart transplant. I mean, you can't do anything about transplanting for diabetes. I mean, I just pretty much had brought myself to a point physically that it was just a matter of time. And a ticking time bomb kind of time. And so I kept thinking, though, I still had dreams. I wasn't ready. I thought, man, I have dreams. And the day after I went to supper with my son and his wife, my daughter-in-law, we had a beautiful dinner, and the next day I was looking for something to watch on TV, and I found a movie. Now this brings me to today. We're watching to the real beginning of my big journey. I watched a movie called The Secret. And in the very first of it, I thought, this is one of those self-help, they talk positive thinking and this and those. I've seen a million of them. I've owned the books. I've attended seminars over the years of them, and I understood it. And then I kept, of course, we program ourselves to be negative without even thinking about it. But my first thought was, well, at the end of this, they're going to ask me to send them $49.95 for the latest system on how to make $1 million or something. Because I'm sorry, that's what some of them seem to be. Many of them. I mean, you can look at self-help books. You Google self-help or, Google, you're going to come up with probably hundreds, if not thousands, of books on the subject. Go to YouTube. Type it in. You're going to come up with video after video after video. Everybody from Anthony Robbins to Napoleon Hill to, you name them. They're there. So I watched the movie, though. And right off the bat, they said what the secret was. Here's the thing. The secret is the law of attraction. I hadn't actually ever heard it put really quite the way they say it, but if you want to break it down real simple, the law of attraction is sort of like karma. What goes around comes around. It's a very simplistic way of looking at it. Well, in this movie, though, they explained things, and like how to activate the law of attraction, how the principles of it work. And they boiled it down to some very simple, and then they even gave quotes on famous people. I'm going to share some of those quotes with you throughout this little journey. But some of the big ones are biblical. Whatever a man thinketh, so he is. That's from Psalms. And then Jesus saying, if you believe it, then it'll be so. I'm paraphrasing. But those are in the Bible. They're really, really big time, iconic people. Even Einstein. And you know what they told me? I start to think, if I believe it, I can achieve it. So if I can have it in my mind and really believe it, I mean believe it like it actually happened, Like you can. I started thinking about when I quit smoking 3 years ago. What I would do is I would picture myself as a non-smoker in my mind's eye. I could do it. I've always had a good imagination anyway, so I've always been able to visualize very well. And there's one of the big keys to this law of attraction, visualization. So I remember visualizing myself as a non-smoker and how good it felt. You know, I mean, I can sit there and say I'm a non-smoker. I can remember it just gave me this sense of joy, and that made quitting smoking easy almost. It wasn't hard like it always had been the million times I tried it before. So, here it is. This is my big journey. I have decided, this is a conscious will. I am asking for this because this is what you do. You ask for it, and you believe in it, and then you're grateful for it. So in this little bag here, it's a little doeskin bag I had made for me by a Native American. In there is a little stone. It's actually a little piece of citrine. It's a quartz crystal citrine. It's polished, and it was given to me as a gift. I didn't even know what citrine was. But it turns out citrine has a frequency like everything else, and this frequency is believed by some to have healing properties. Great, wonderful. But I use it for a grateful stone. So I need to be grateful for, I first need to be grateful for everything, but I'm grateful for what I'm asking for ahead of time. So this is what I use this for. Every time I sense this thing, I feel this sense of gratefulness, and it's a wonderful feeling to be grateful. You know what it was like when you were a kid and you wanted something so bad, you could almost feel yourself having it. And then when you got it, remember how delighted you were and how grateful you felt. So that's this concept. And you know what's really good? In the Bible it doesn't say if you believe it, you can achieve it as long as you pay $49.95 at the end of this seminar. No, it's a real bare bones basic, do this and this will happen. There's no conditions to it other than you follow these steps. And I know I can do that. In fact, I already did. I asked for it, and within seconds I knew it was going to happen because I saw it. I see myself not only healed, I'm talking healed, completely healed. I will be, this time next year, 100% healed. Physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way I'll be healed. Not only that, I'm going to be doing these vlogs or episodes or whatever I don't know what they call these things, these videos. I'm going to be doing them from my boat, from the pilot house in my boat that I don't yet own, but in my mind I own it. And I can see myself in it. That means I'm going to own it. Just like I can see myself well and whole. I can see myself standing before hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people, telling them my story about how this miracle and magic happened in my life. Because I did what? I applied something that they called a secret that's not really a secret. It's known by thousands and thousands of people. It's known by almost everybody in some form or fashion. But we tend to live lives where we just don't. You know what we do? We tend to hope for the things that we don't want to happen. We think a lot about things we don't want. And that's where we go wrong, is what I found out. That's where I went wrong. I kept laying around here thinking, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to suffer. I find myself sometimes just sitting here in tears, feeling sorry for myself. Come on, man. You don't have to feel sorry for yourself. You can heal yourself. I've stopped taking all my medicine. I'm still going to go to the doctor, but only to get confirmation of what I already know so that I can hold it up and say, look at this. I have a brand new liver. I have a brand new heart. I have no diabetes. I'm going to say that to you one day. I'm going to show you the evidence. And I can already tell you, I've taken my blood pressure several times. I haven't had any medicines. And my blood pressure hasn't been any higher than it was when I was taking the medicines. And I have had 2 or 3 really pretty good night's sleep compared to before. And I felt good every day when I woke up. And yesterday, I walked vigorously, briskly, up and down this property where I live. I live on the property that owned by, it's my daughter-in-law's folks own this 3-acre property. And we live in our motorhome here. And I walked one end to the other briskly 4 times and then 4 more times later in the day. And I'm going to continue that. I've changed my eating habits. These things are actions you take. It's not like you have to sit there and feel like, oh, I've got to do these things. No, it's kind of like you feel like you want to do them. You're being guided. I'm being guided. I'm being guided to do things. I'm being guided to make these videos. I'm being guided to eat better foods. I had given up. And when I saw that movie, I thought, hey, there's all these places on YouTube you can go, and there's a lot of places online you can go, and at the bottom of the page, it's always $19.95, $99.95, $49.95, buy this book, buy this book. I don't need to buy a book, and I'm not selling a book. What I'm doing is I'm giving somebody out there an opportunity to watch me prove this thing works, and hopefully inspire somebody to make some improvement in their own life. And if I only reach one person, if my story inspires one person to improve their life, that's like the greatest gift in the world, because guess what? I don't know who that person might be. That person could be the next great inventor. That person could be somebody who finds a cure to something. Oh my word. Okay, so I hope you'll follow me. Okay, here's how you can follow me. Click subscribe. They always go like this on the videos. It's down there. That red button. Click that. And if you want to, click the thumbs up like. You can also click the thumbs down you didn't like. That's cool. But I can't control you. You have a God-given right to be wrong, so you can click thumbs down. It's fine. I won't try to stop you. And the thing is, if you click the subscribe thing, you get to you'll get a notification when I put out a new video. I don't know how often, at least once a week. I want to give my progress reports at least once a week and talk more about this law of attraction, because there's a lot to talk about. There is a lot to talk about. It goes way yonder further than just my health. And I'm just so, I'm telling you, I'm so excited I can't hardly stand it. And so I hope you join me on my journey. And I look forward to speaking with you again. Feel free to leave comments down below. I'd love to, I would love to respond to all of them, but I will if they don't, until they get to be too many. There eventually it's going to be I know there's going to be too many. But I'll certainly respond if they move me. So, Big Dave here, my big journey, and we're off and running. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Be well. Choose to be well.